East New York, Brooklyn, 7-5 precinct, the deadliest precinct in the country.
You felt like you were God. You felt like you were God.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I am Leroy Truth for Leroy Truth Investigations. The 75th precinct in New York City is dirty. It is corrupt. Figuratively and literally. Metaphorically and literally. This is the same precinct that Sean of Long Island Audits was arrested at. The 75th precinct. They don't care about your rights. They care about lining their pockets. They care about oppressing you, and they care about making sure that their ego is respected at all costs. So much so that there was a documentary that was created in 2014 called The 7-5. And that particular documentary focused on police officer Michael Dowd. And he was a former police officer of 10 years who was so profoundly, egregiously breaking the law, he actually got arrested. And he was a major drug dealer, strong-arm guy, you name it. And as he admits in the documentary that no one would turn him in, he knew he had people covered his back. They had his back.
You felt like you were God. You felt like you were God. I never had a fear about getting busted.
Michael Dowd did not have any fear.
Because the cops around me would never give me up.
No one can get away with that type of behavior unless you have an entire system and culture that protects them. And what's changed since this? He was arrested in 1992, and it resulted in a commission called the Mullen Commission investigation in 1992. And this documentary, you got to watch it, because I'm going to show you the trailer. But it is a must-see. And it shows the poison of the entire police culture. Check this out.
New York is in the grips of a crime wave.
It was like the heyday of crack.
It was violent, man.
Homicides, robberies, rapes. It was a war zone.
East New York, Brooklyn, 7-5 precinct, the deadliest precinct in the country.
7-5 precinct, deadliest precinct in the country. And what has changed?
Who did I burn to get put here? It would scare Clint Eastwood.
When I first went to the precinct, I hear about this guy, Mike Dowd.
Mikey's just crazy.
Michael Dowd was a crook who ended up wearing a cop's uniform.
He was a criminal.
Whoa, I gotta
Once
stop
in a
there.
gym.
He was a crook who ended up wearing a cop's uniform. Now, do cops become crooks because they have the uniform, or do they start off as crooks? This man here, this gentleman said he was a crook that wore a cop's uniform. That would be appropriate for most cops.
Generation corrupt cop.
I consider myself both a cop and a gangster.
That's him. That's Michael Dowd right there.
Forget about Beverly Hills and all that other stuff. The ghetto is one of the richest neighborhoods there is.
Maybe there's some way we can make money from this.
La Compañía. It's a very serious Dominican gang.
$24,000 in our hands to talk.
Mike was of rain. Say no problem.
In his business, if you mess up, you got killed.
I'm a New York City cop. I'm taking a risk of going to jail for a long period of time, and you're gonna short me a dime?
His word against mine. And I'm a cop.
I'd break your neck if your neck needs breaking.
These are the cops. This is police culture, ladies and gentlemen. It's still like this. Nothing has changed.
I had 3 machines counting money, and it's still not enough time.
Everybody on the floor now!
There's no becoming a cop again.
You're gonna have me killed.
We knew we were up against a really tough crew.
A month ago, I was a regular cop, and now I'm a criminal.
See, these cops are admitting. This is not conjecture. This is not hypothesis. These cops are literally admitting their criminality.
They taught us in the police academy.
Got a guy in the front, a guy in the back, got an entry team.
You felt like you were God.
The normal person that's doing wrong is going to have a fear of being caught.
I never had a fear about getting busted.
Michael Dowd did not have any fear.
Because the cops around me would never give me up.
There we go. That says it all right there. Because the cops around him would not give it up. The thick blue line, they are the ultimate gang, the cops. And you hear on camera, they're admitting this, and nothing's changed. Once in a while, you get a sacrificial lamb like Michael Dowd who will be arrested because their behavior was maybe so incredibly in the light of day egregious that they needed a sacrificial lamb. Or maybe he pissed off the chief's wife. Maybe he was sleeping with the chief's wife or something. But this behavior continues. It is insane. And watch this documentary. And it's called The 7-5 documentary. But I will include the link to the full documentary, which is available on YouTube. And watch this documentary. And it will shock you. It is up to us to hold the police accountable. We will demand from Mayor Adams that he bring the police to heel. We demand from our senators and our congressmen and our congresswomen and our local, state, national, federal politicians to not just create police reform, because we cannot reform that which is so poisonous. You cannot reform a rattlesnake. We have to reboot what policing looks like from the ground up in our United States of America. Step one is call Mayor Adams' office, go on social media, tell him we demand a reboot of police. We demand accountability. Because why did this stuff happen? How did all of these things, how did Michael Dowd become a profoundly successful criminal while wearing a badge and a gun? After taking the oath to protect the Constitution and to so-called protect and serve the community. He got away with it because it was supported by his colleagues. As he said, no one is going to turn the guy in. And you know what you call a good cop? Unemployed. They can't exist in this culture. They can't exist. There are a few good cops in the midst, but they cannot exist if they're in integrity, and they're not a good cop if they're out of integrity. Like, I'm not going to do that to other people, but I'm not going to stop my fellow cop from harassing, assaulting, buying drugs, murdering an innocent man, having their knee on their neck for 9 minutes or whatever it may be. You're not a good cop unless you stop a bad cop. That's the litmus test. Your intention, saying, well, I'm not going to do what they do. That's not enough. You are literally in a position of power. You have a badge, you have a costume, and you have a gun. And if a bad cop is doing the wrong thing, what would you do to a regular person? You take out your gun. If they're threatening someone's life. Well, if someone is doing the wrong thing, harassing, assaulting, or threatening someone, and they happen to be a cop, it's about right or wrong, not about the thick blue line. Take out your gun and make sure they know to stop that. Otherwise, you will use up until and including deadly force to get them to stop the criminal behavior where they're victimizing someone. Make sure to call Senator Schumer's office, Senator Tim Scott's office. We, the people, will create police reform. The politicians work for us. The police work for us. The mayor works for us. They don't presently because we have not held them accountable. So it is time we get together and do that, just that. And step one is calling, emailing, going on social media, demanding police reforms of all the politicians, including Senator Schumer here, Senator Tim Scott. And yes, it makes a difference. It's a starting point. It is a starting point. And if they refuse through that means, we will then go to phase 2. But we will bring about, and I am absolutely committed until my dying breath, to create police reform for you, for myself, all of our families in the United States of America. I appreciate your help, your support. Thank you for watching my videos. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so. Please like my video. Please share my video. And let's get the word out to even more people. And email me too at leroytruth247@gmail.com with your ideas, with your videos. If you have any videos of you being harassed, assaulted by the police as an innocent man or woman, send them to me. I will do a story on them immediately. I appreciate you. I am Leroy Truth for Leroy Truth Investigations. See you next time.